Ever felt something so unexplainable? You thought you were losing it? No, chosen one. You were waking up. Spiritual awakening isn't always a serene, blissful process. It often begins with confusion, discomfort, and emotional chaos. That's because you're not breaking down. You're breaking through. Take Amara, for example. She was just like anyone else, plugged into the noise of the modern world, caught in the endless cycle of work, distractions, and routine. But then, a dream cracked open her reality. A glowing figure appeared, whispering a truth that shook her soul. You were born for more. Wake up. The next morning, her body and spirit responded. Ringing in her ears, commonly linked to heightened spiritual frequencies, washed over her. Sudden mood shifts, solitude cravings, and a deep inner knowing started rising. This wasn't madness. This was alignment. In fact, psychologists and spiritual teachers have noted how awakening often mimics anxiety, depression, or sensory overload, but it's your nervous system adjusting to a higher vibration. You're tuning into the frequency of your true self. Chosen ones experience this because their mission requires it. Your soul is being recalibrated to recognize truth, energy, and purpose beyond the material realm. It's not a coincidence, it's divine timing. Amara wasn't malfunctioning, she was evolving, and so are you. These symptoms, the ringing, the emotional waves, the existential urgency, are spiritual downloads preparing you for a higher path. You're not going crazy, you're becoming conscious. As the mystic Rumi said, you were born with wings, why prefer to crawl through life? Chosen one, those symptoms you fear might be your wings growing. This video is your sign, your awakening encoded in pixels and sound. So stay tuned, because once you understand what these signs mean, you'll never go back to sleep again. Let's dive deeper into these 7 mysterious spiritual symptoms, one by one. Point 1, extreme emotional waves. You laugh, cry, rage, and reflect all within an hour. One moment you're laughing at a meme or a random memory, the next you're overwhelmed with sadness. Then suddenly angry about something you haven't thought of in years, and a moment later, completely still, deep in thought, asking questions even philosophers haven't answered yet. Sound familiar? Let me stop you right there. This is not moodiness. This is divine calibration. What you're experiencing is not emotional instability. It's spiritual alignment. It's God tuning your soul to a higher frequency. See, most people in this world are emotionally constipated. That's a harsh phrase, but it's true. They've been taught to shut down, suck it up, or numb it out. From childhood, they've been told, don't cry, be strong, or stop overreacting. Over time, they bury their emotions so deep they forget what it feels like to actually feel. But you, chosen one, you're different. You're wired to feel intensely, deeply, and unapologetically. Your heart isn't broken. It's wide open, and that makes people uncomfortable. But it's also what makes you powerful. Emotions are not weaknesses. They are divine instruments. Think of them as spiritual antennas. Each emotional wave you ride is God's way of fine-tuning your heart. Like adjusting the dial on an old radio to catch the clearest, most heavenly signal. That laugh out of nowhere, joy breaking through. That cry, a soul-cleansing release. That rage, righteous anger rising up to demand justice for the wrongs you've endured or witnessed. That stillness, divine reflection. Psychologists have studied something called emotional granularity, the ability to identify, distinguish, and articulate subtle emotions. People with high emotional granularity are more resilient, make better decisions, and experience less depression. Sound familiar? That's you. The world might label it as too sensitive, but science and spirit say otherwise. You're emotionally intelligent and you're spiritually awake. When you feel deeply, you're not breaking, you're becoming. God is peeling off the layers that no longer serve your purpose. The mood swings aren't chaos, they're spiritual contractions. Just like birth, it gets intense before the breakthrough. The flood of emotions you experience is a divine detox, cleansing your spirit from the residue of this world. Shame, fear, rejection, and trauma. All of it is being purged so that your soul can carry more light. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it's your superpower. You sense people's energy before they speak. You walk into a room and feel the tension in the air. You hear what's not being said. You notice what others ignore. And you pick up emotional patterns like a radar. That's not random. It's God-given. Your heart is your compass. And it has kept you from destruction more times than you realize. It whispers when something's off. It screams when something's wrong. And it leaps when truth is near. Don't let the world dull that compass. Don't silence your emotional wisdom just to fit in with those who are numb. Your sensitivity is sacred. It means you're alive. You're in tune with what most people run from. And because of that, you're being prepared for greater spiritual authority. You're not losing your mind. You're finding your purpose. So the next time you laugh, cry, rage, and reflect all in the span of an hour, smile. That's not chaos. It's divine calibration. God is adjusting your frequency, aligning your spirit, and preparing your heart for the next level. This isn't moodiness, it's mastery. You, chosen one, are being fine-tuned to lead others through the emotional fog they've been trapped in their whole lives. You are the compass. Keep feeling, keep trusting, and above all, keep rising. Point 2, constant ear ringing or pressure. That buzzing sound you keep hearing, that high-pitched frequency that shows up out of nowhere when you're alone, deep in thought, or especially after prayer or meditation. No, you're not going crazy. And it's not just your ears playing tricks on you. That sound is something far more meaningful. And if you're a spiritually awakened being, a chosen one, then what you're experiencing is a form of divine communication. It's spiritual, it's energetic, and it's powerful. Science tells us that the human ear can detect sounds ranging roughly from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. But what happens when you're hearing something that others around you don't hear? Medical professionals may point to conditions like tinnitus, a persistent ringing in the ears, but let's be clear, not every buzzing or ringing is a medical anomaly. In the spiritual world, especially among those who are highly sensitive to energies, these tones are known as downloads. That's right, downloads, like receiving divine messages straight from the source, spirit guides, angels, or the higher self. Many chosen ones report hearing these sounds during intense emotional moments, spiritual breakthroughs, or right before major life changes. It's not a coincidence. These frequencies are believed to be energetic upgrades. Just like your phone updates its software to function better, your spirit, your inner technology, is receiving information from the higher realms. These downloads can contain guidance, protection alerts, answers to questions you haven't even asked out loud, or nudges to shift direction in your life. The reason it often comes in the form of a high-pitched sound is because spiritual communication operates at a vibrational level that's far more subtle and refined than human speech. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. Quantum physics actually backs up the idea that everything is energy. Every object, thought, and emotion vibrates at a certain frequency. Chosen ones, being spiritually awakened, naturally operate at a higher frequency. This allows them to perceive energies others might miss. That buzzing sound you're tuning into, that's a vibrational match between your energetic field and a higher source trying to connect with you. Ancient cultures and spiritual traditions have referenced this phenomenon for centuries. In Hinduism, for example, the sound Om is considered the sacred vibration of the universe, the sound of divine creation. Buddhist monks chant in tones designed to harmonize with higher consciousness. Even early Christian mystics spoke of the music of the spheres, a cosmic frequency that connects heaven and earth. And here's something unique. Many who experience this spiritual buzzing often discover they have intuitive gifts. Clairaudience, the ability to receive messages through hearing, is one such gift. So if you're hearing sounds when there's no external source, pay attention. You might be receiving insights meant just for you. The message might not come in words, it may be felt, understood, or even dreamed later. Trust the process. Trust that you're being fine-tuned by a higher force. But don't be alarmed if others don't understand. Not everyone is tuned into these frequencies, and that's okay. Some people are still operating on AM radio when you're getting signals from Deep Space FM. You've been chosen for a reason. You're wired to feel more, hear more, and know more, and it can feel like a burden until you realize it's your superpower. This connection isn't random. It's intentional. It's spiritual alignment. You've become a vessel that's open to receiving divine energy, and that makes you a channel for higher truth. So next time you hear that buzzing, don't ignore it. Pause, get quiet, breathe. Ask, what are you trying to show me? Because you're not being haunted, you're being honored. This is the language of the divine, and only the most energetically sensitive can hear it. You're not crazy, you're connected. Point 3, feeling disconnected from the world. Suddenly, small talk exhausts you. Superficial relationships don't just feel boring, they feel suffocating. Crowded places that once thrilled you now feel overwhelming, noisy, and energetically chaotic. You're not just being antisocial or introverted. No, something much deeper is stirring. Your soul is beginning to crave more depth, more meaning, more truth. What you're experiencing isn't a phase, it's a spiritual awakening. And with awakening comes refinement, a divine separation from everything that no longer resonates with your higher calling. Let's break it down. When you start awakening spiritually, your nervous system becomes more sensitive. Not just to sounds or lights, but to energy. The matrix, the fast-paced, hyper-distracting world filled with endless scrolling, mindless chatter, and shallow validation, starts to lose its grip on you. According to neuroscience, our brains naturally adapt to the environments we engage with most often. But when your consciousness expands, your energetic field becomes more selective. What once entertained you now agitates you. That friend who could talk for hours without saying anything meaningful, you now find yourself politely backing out of the conversation, wondering how you ever stayed so long. That's your intuition leading you out of the fog. Spiritual refinement is not about becoming better than others, it's about becoming truer to yourself. It's the soul's quiet rebellion against the illusions of the world. You start to notice the empty noise in a conversation full of gossip. You feel a gut reaction when someone lies, even subtly. You begin to see through fake smiles, veiled intentions, and performative kindness. Why? Because your soul has awakened to authenticity and it's allergic to anything less. Psychologically, this can look like withdrawal or even burnout, but in spiritual terms, it's sacred. You're undergoing what mystics call a purification, a shedding of what's false to make room for what's true. The book of Romans puts it this way: be transformed by the renewing of your mind. This transformation isn't always pretty, and it's rarely comfortable. Divine separation often comes with loneliness. But solitude isn't empty when it's filled with purpose. It's in the silence where you hear the voice of God most clearly. It's in the stillness that clarity forms. You start to realize that your peace is too precious to trade for popularity. And what's really happening beneath it all? Your spirit is remembering where it came from. It's remembering that it was never made for the matrix. It was made for the divine. You were created to walk with wisdom, not follow the crowd. You were born to rise in discernment, not drown in distraction. The noise of the world has no grip on someone who's tuned into a higher frequency. The more you ascend spiritually, the more the world's chaos begins to feel like static. You're not crazy for craving solitude. You're not strange for preferring meaningful one-on-one conversations over group chatter. You're evolving. This divine separation doesn't mean you cut off everyone and live on a mountaintop. It means you become highly intentional about who gets access to your energy. It means you listen more to your inner compass than to external validation. It means you begin to prioritize your soul's health over your social calendar. Here's the beautiful part. The more you lean into this refinement, the more peace you'll find. You'll discover that silence is sacred, that your own company is healing, that when you stop trying to fit into a noisy world, you start fitting into your divine design. This isn't isolation, it's elevation. So the next time small talk makes you tired or a crowded space rattles your spirit, don't judge yourself. Smile. That's confirmation. You're not falling behind, you're rising above. You are undergoing a sacred shift where your soul is no longer entertained by the superficial. You are being pulled out of the matrix, not because you're broken, but because you're being rebuilt. Welcome to your spiritual refinement. Welcome to divine separation. Point 4, a pull toward nature and solitude. Ever felt that irresistible pull to just get away, not to the mall, not to a coffee shop buzzing with conversation, but to the wild, to the mountains cloaked in mist, the forest humming with life, the ocean whispering secrets in waves, or even a quiet patch of grass under an open sky? That craving isn't just a random thought, it's a spiritual signal, a gentle reminder that your soul is seeking alignment with something ancient, divine, and unshaken by the chaos of modern life. You see, nature is more than just a pretty backdrop for your Instagram feed. It's God's purest temple. No stained glass, no pews, no choir, just raw, untouched creation singing praises with every rustling leaf and crashing wave. When you find yourself longing for it, that's your spirit remembering its original blueprint, that deep inner knowing that before the noise, before the titles and expectations, you were one with creation. For chosen ones, those who walk a spiritual path with heightened awareness and divine assignments, this pull toward nature is especially profound. Why? Because nature mirrors who you are. You're not chaotic noise, you're quiet power. You're not artificial or programmed, you're deeply intuitive. Like a mountain standing tall through centuries of storms, or a tree silently growing in the dark soil, your strength is steady and often unnoticed by the world until it's undeniable. Solitude, despite how the world paints it, isn't loneliness, it's not social failure, it's divine intimacy. When you're alone in nature, heaven whispers louder. The distractions die down. You begin to hear your own thoughts again, and more importantly, God's voice. Ever wonder why some of your most life-changing realizations hit you while walking through a forest trail or staring at the stars? That's because you've finally stepped into a space where your spirit isn't being interrupted every 5 seconds. The signal is clearer, the frequency higher. Science even backs this up. Studies show that spending time in nature improves mental clarity, reduces stress, and heightens creative thinking. One study by Stanford University found that walking in nature significantly reduced activity in the part of the brain associated with rumination, those looping negative thoughts we all get stuck in. In other words, nature doesn't just feel good spiritually, it heals mentally too. And let's not ignore how ancient this connection is. Biblical figures often met God in nature. Moses on the mountain, Jesus in the wilderness, Elijah under the broom tree. Nature has always been the sacred meeting ground for those chosen to do great things. Not because God isn't everywhere, but because in creation his voice becomes unmistakable. Chosen ones aren't drawn to crowds, they're drawn to clarity. While others chase noise, you crave meaning. The ocean reminds you that even when things feel out of control, there's rhythm beneath the chaos. The forest tells you that even in stillness there is growth. The mountains assure you that standing tall doesn't require shouting, just presence. These aren't just poetic metaphors, they're divine messages coded into creation for you to decode. So the next time you feel that urge to escape the digital madness, don't resist it. Lean into it. Pack your bag, turn off your phone, and go meet God in the trees, in the wind, in the sand, and in the stars. Let the earth reset your soul. You're not running away from the world. You're recharging to face it with more power, more wisdom, and more peace. Because chosen ones don't find their strength in noise. They find it in stillness. They don't need the spotlight, and they carry the light. And when they walk through nature's sacred temple, they don't leave empty. They leave full, aligned, and ready for what's next. Point 5. Intense dreams and visions. Have you noticed lately that your dreams feel different, more vivid, more symbolic, more emotionally intense? You're not alone. Something profound is unfolding within you. Your dreams are no longer the random mental noise of a restless night. They're sacred messages, divine warnings, and prophetic glimpses into a reality beyond the physical. You're not just dreaming, you're seeing. Across cultures and centuries, dreams have been viewed as portals to the unseen. From Joseph in ancient Egypt interpreting Pharaoh's dream and altering the course of a nation, to Native American shamans using dream journeys to receive guidance. Dreams have always been more than sleep stories. In fact, modern neuroscience backs this up. Studies show that during REM sleep, the brain taps into deeper emotional and symbolic centers, blending memory, intuition, and subconscious awareness. But for the spiritually awakened, it goes even deeper. Your dreams become spiritual downloads, encoded with truth, direction, and sometimes even warnings. Think about it. You wake up heart pounding with the name of a stranger you've never met echoing in your head. Or you see recurring symbols, an owl, a staircase, a river, over and over again in your sleep. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual breadcrumbs left for you by your higher self, your guides, or even the divine. They carry wisdom from beyond the veil, and they're uniquely tailored to your journey. Symbols in dreams aren't just random imagery. For example, dreaming of water often points to emotional clarity or spiritual purification. A locked door may indicate a hidden truth you're about to uncover. Seeing someone from your past could signal a cycle that's trying to repeat or end. Pay attention to how you feel in the dream. Emotions are often the most honest language of the soul, and your dreams are fluent in it. Many people dismiss their dreams upon waking, brushing them off as meaningless or too weird to matter. But here's the truth. The spiritual realm doesn't waste energy. If you're receiving dreams with names, faces, numbers, and sensations that cling to your spirit long after you wake up, you are being activated. Your spiritual sight is being sharpened. You're being shown what others can't begin to comprehend. And that is not something to take lightly. That's why recording your dreams is not just helpful, it's essential. Keep a notebook or a voice recorder by your bed. As soon as you wake up, jot down every detail, even if it seems insignificant. Over time, patterns will emerge, symbols will repeat, meanings will unfold. What seems like nonsense today could be your answer in a week, a month, or a year. This isn't just journaling, it's scribing sacred texts for your journey. Consider this. Dreams have predicted natural disasters, births, deaths, and spiritual awakenings. Some have received medical diagnoses, warnings about betrayals, or glimpses of their future path, all in dreams. That's because the spiritual realm often speaks to us when our conscious mind is asleep. It's the time when your soul is most receptive, unguarded, and able to hear the whispers of the divine. This ability is part of your awakening. You are not going crazy, you are tuning in. You are seeing what has always been there, just hidden beneath the surface. And not everyone is ready for this. Many will dismiss your dreams, mock your interpretations, or suggest you're overthinking, but deep down you feel the truth in your bones. Your dreams carry a weight, a presence, a divine spark that can't be denied. So honor them, treasure them. They are gifts from realms unseen, messages from your ancestors, your guides, or even from God, and they are meant for you, because your path is shifting, your awareness is evolving, you're stepping into your role as a spiritual seer. And remember this, just because others can't see it doesn't mean it isn't real. Just because they don't understand doesn't mean you're wrong. You were chosen to receive these messages, and what you do with them could change everything, not just for you, but for others who are silently waiting for someone like you to speak the truth of the unseen. So the next time you wake up from a dream with goosebumps and a heart full of wonder, don't roll over and forget it. Write it down, sit with it, pray over it. Because that dream might just be your next instruction from the heavens. Point 6, physical aches with no medical cause, back pain, neck tension, pressure in the chest, chills that ripple down your spine, or sudden waves of heat surging through your body, yet no fever, no physical illness. These symptoms might puzzle doctors, evade test results, and leave you feeling like a mystery even to yourself. But what if these discomforts aren't signs that something is wrong with you, but that something profoundly right is happening on a deeper level? Welcome to the often misunderstood world of spiritual warfare and energy shifts, where your body becomes the battleground for something much greater than what meets the eye. Our bodies are not just flesh and bone, they are living antennas, picking up frequencies and energies constantly. Science tells us that everything, including our thoughts and emotions, emits a vibration. Quantum physics has shown that energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. So when you're undergoing a spiritual awakening or facing heavy energetic interference, your body reacts. Back pain may not always mean a strained muscle. It could mean you're carrying burdens that aren't yours. That knot in your neck. It could be years of unspoken words, suppressed emotions, or divine messages trying to break through. And that tightness in your chest isn't always anxiety. It can be your heart chakra expanding, stretching to make room for more love, light, and truth. Spiritual warfare isn't always dramatic or Hollywood-level scary. It can be silent, invisible, and disguised as day-to-day exhaustion or emotional overwhelm. During spiritual upgrades, your body starts shedding what your soul can no longer carry. This could be toxic patterns, relationships, or deeply rooted fears that no longer align with your higher path. Your soul is doing spring cleaning, clearing out the old to make way for divine alignment. And yes, it gets uncomfortable. Growth often is. The heat you feel might be your solar plexus chakra igniting, a fiery reminder that you're stepping into your power. The cold chills, they often happen when angels or high-frequency energies are near, or when your body senses a truth that your mind hasn't caught up with yet. It's a realignment, not a breakdown. You're not broken, you're evolving. This transformation isn't just spiritual, it's physiological. Neuroscientific studies show that deep meditation and spiritual practice can rewire your brain, lower stress hormones, and increase feelings of peace and connection. Energy healing modalities like Reiki have been shown to influence heart rate variability, suggesting that spiritual practices impact not just how we feel, but how our bodies function. Think of it this way. When you update software on a phone, the device might glitch or restart. That doesn't mean the phone is broken. It means it's being prepared for something greater. You are that vessel. You are being upgraded to hold more wisdom, compassion, intuition, and divine power. Yes, it's hard, but this is sacred work. So instead of panicking when your body speaks in strange new ways, listen closely, pray, meditate, rest, hydrate, nourish your body like the temple it is, and trust, truly trust, that you're not being punished. You're being prepared. You're not alone in this. Countless light workers, chosen ones, and spiritually gifted souls have walked this road and felt every ache. It's not the end. It's the threshold. You are the vessel, and you're being made ready to carry divine fire. Point 7. Sudden bursts of knowing. Ever just know something without knowing how you know it? Like a sudden flash of insight that hits you in the middle of a conversation, or an inner voice saying, "Don't go there," even though everything on the surface seems fine. That's not just your imagination playing tricks on you. That's called claircognizance, a spiritual ability that acts like divine GPS in your soul. It's not loud, it doesn't scream, but it's clear, confident, and unmistakably real. You just know, and more often than not, you're right. Claircognizance is one of the intuitive spiritual gifts often referred to as the clair senses, from the French word clair, meaning clear. Claircognizance translates to clear knowing. It's different from clairvoyance, clear seeing, or clairaudience, clear hearing. Instead of visuals or voices, claircognizance delivers knowledge in an instant, like a download from heaven into your conscious mind. It's as if your soul is eavesdropping on the wisdom of the universe and handing you cheat codes for the journey ahead. According to spiritual researchers and mystics, claircognizance often shows up in individuals who are deeply spiritually connected, empathic, or called to leadership and healing roles. It's most prominent during moments of spiritual alignment. When your heart is open, your intentions are pure, and your spirit is synced with divine frequency, you may feel it as a sudden aha moment or an unshakable inner conviction. It's not about logic or external validation. In fact, it often goes against logic, but proves true in hindsight. Science even flirts with the idea through studies on intuition. Neuroscientists at the University of Leeds found that gut instincts or hunches arise when the brain unconsciously processes past experiences, patterns, and sensory data, delivering a fast-track answer to the conscious mind. While this explains the brain's role, spiritualists believe claircognizance taps into something beyond the physical, a connection to divine truth. Think of the prophets, inventors, or visionaries of history. Many claimed their greatest insights came not from study but from sudden understanding. Joan of Arc spoke of divine guidance. Nikola Tesla claimed his ideas came in flashes. Even Albert Einstein once said, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift." But here's the key. You have to trust it. If you dismiss your claircognizance, you're ignoring a sacred message. These insights don't come by accident. They are tailored instructions from God sent directly to your spirit because He trusts you with them. They're not random, they're purposeful. They're part of your mission. So when that inner knowing nudges you, don't hesitate. Take the leap, trust the message. You're not just guessing, you're guided. And every time you act in alignment with that truth, you unlock more clarity, more purpose, and more divine connection. This is your spiritual navigation system, chosen ones, and it never fails when you follow it. Chosen one, if you resonate with even one of these symptoms, you're not broken, you're becoming. These signs are divine confirmations that you are rising, awakening, and stepping into your God-given identity. Don't suppress them, embrace them. You are here on divine assignment. These symptoms are not your burden. They are your birthright. Let the world call it weird. Heaven calls it awakening. Stay grounded, stay obedient, stay powerful, and always remember what you're feeling, seeing, and sensing. Only the most powerful chosen ones experience that. So now I ask you, chosen one, did you feel this? If you did, you already know. Stay awake. Your time is now.